So now that you draw all this furniture in the same file that we have our floor plan, what I want to do is that I want to go and create my first block. So I'm gonna go and select this. I'm gonna go uncheck this. So in order to create a block, I have two options in order to create a block. One of the options I have is that I can go to the insert block, and here I'm going to create a block. So the second tab in the insert is going to be creating the block. So I'm going to go and create a block. First thing it asks me is the name of the block that I want to create. So I'm going to call it bed. I'm going to specify the origin. I'm going to specify by picking point. So by picking point, I'm going to pick this point. See that number? That number is not necessarily means in the whole drawing set. It's usually whatever drawings and whatever object you create as a block, it's going to be that point associated with that. So if I place it here, when I insert it, that point or this point become the base point of my object. So then the second thing is that I want to select the object. So this time I'm going to go with the select object, and I'm going to go and selecting all these elements. And I don't want them to be annotative, and I want it to be scaled uniformly. I don't want them to be different scale in X and Y. I'm gonna keep the layers this. For now, we don't want it to be opened in a block editor, and we're gonna say okay. Alright, so now we create our block. If I move my mouse over this, you see that basically my object in that layer. So now what happened? If I select this object and then place it into the furniture, what happened is that AutoCAD placed all the objects in that specific layer. This is very important when you are creating the block. If these objects, let's say for example this rectangle that represent desk, if it is drawn in a different layer than like a zero layer, when I change the block, so let's say I do it one more time. Let me just do this one more time. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to explode this. By exploding basically means that you're going to, these objects, it doesn't understand it as a block. So now you see that everything is going to be a separate object. Let me just undo this one more time. So now it's a block. I have two options to explode. One is that typing X is basically exploding, and then I select this object and it's going to be exploded. The other way is that I'm going to select it and I'm going to use this modify tool, explode, same thing, and it's exploded. Right after I explode this, see what happened. All the objects that was in that furniture layer, show it was in the furniture layer, get back to the layer 0. So let me just change one of the object here. So I'm going to change this object. I'm going to, for the sake of this conversation, put it in a text. And I'm gonna go to the furniture, and I'm gonna go to insert and create a block. So the other way of running this command is that I typing B block is basically bringing this menu, creating a block. So the other way of running this command is just by typing B. So I'm gonna call this again bed. I'm gonna pick a point. So I'm gonna pick the point up here. So that's gonna be my reference point. Whenever I insert it, you will see it a little bit later what does that mean. And I can select the object, and I'm get back to this menu. See that I have the option of deleting this object in the drawings, or I can convert this to the block. So I'm going to leave it as a convert. Everything else is going to be the same, so I'm going to press OK. And it asks me to redefine. The reason it asks me to redefine because I already create a bed block in my drawings. I'm going to say yes, so I'm going to redefine it. So see what happened. All the object that was in the layer 0 change the layer to the current layer, which is the furniture. Only this line that it was in a different layer, when I put it in the text layer, it didn't change to that layer I want. Alright, so that's basically how to create a block. So let's go and edit this block. So I'm going to select this, and if I double click in the object, what happened is that this edit block definition is just show up, and I can select the block bed, which is what I want, and I'm gonna press OK. Right after I click, that's basically bring me to what it called the block editor. That's a place that you have to work into, like editing the blocks. We're going to talk about a little bit of these commands here, but for now what I want to do is that I'm going to select this line here, and I'm going to go back. So I was in the editor block, I go back to Home tab, and I open up this layer menu, and I place it back to layer 0. Now I'm done. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to say yes, close it, and it asks me if I want to save these changes to bed. So I'm going to say yes, and that automatically changed that one to all of them now in the same layer. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a block of all these things that I have here. So let's go and create another one. So this one, all the ones is on the layer 0 objects. I place it to the furniture, and I'm going to type B, create a block. This time I'll call it desk. I'm going to specify the base point. I'm going to place the base point up here as this stated in assignment. If you go back here, see that little like arrow? That basically means where is going to be the base point of each block. So I'm going to place it here. Selecting object. I'm going to select this, and everything else is supposed to be the same, and I press OK, and that's create the desk. So what I want you to do is that go ahead and create all the different objects. The only thing that's supposed to be different is that when you want to create the window, I want you to change this layer to window layer that we created. So we'll do window and then create this and have this in a window layer.